Why was my wife wiping her fingerprints off my empty insulin vial at 3 in the morning? The soft glow from the bathroom nightlight cast long, distorted shadows across her face as she meticulously polished the small glass bottle with a microfiber cloth. Her back was to me, but I could see her reflection in the medicine cabinet mirror. Her expression was one of intense concentration, the kind she used to have when we were first married, and she'd help me organize my medical supplies. Now, it was just cold, clinical. I stood there, frozen in the doorway, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. What had she done? If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It all started 3 months ago at my own 30th birthday party. Our backyard was filled with friends, fairy lights, and the smell of grilled steak. I was laughing, truly happy, surrounded by people I loved. And then I saw it. Jessica was standing near the patio, talking to David, a colleague of hers I'd only met a couple of times. It wasn't what they were saying. It was how she looked at him. A look of raw, unguarded adoration she hadn't given me in years. Her hand rested on his arm just a second too long. My stomach twisted. I walked over, forcing a smile, and wrapped an arm around her waist. Her body stiffened almost imperceptibly. "Having fun, honey?" I asked. She pulled away slightly. "Of course, Michael. David was just telling me about his trip to Italy." David just smirked, a smug, self-satisfied look in his eyes. The rest of the night, a cold dread settled over me. That night was the beginning of the end. Jessica started working late, client dinners becoming a regular excuse. She'd come home smelling of a cologne that was UNT mine and a perfume that was UNT hers. Her phone, once left casually on the coffee table, was now her constant companion, always screened down or clutched in her hand. One evening I asked to use it to look up a restaurant because my battery was dead. The panic in her eyes was instant. "No, I'm expecting an important work email," she snapped, pulling it away. The lie was so blatant, so clumsy, it felt like a slap. Humiliation burned in my chest. I wasn't just being cheated on, I was being treated like a fool. The proof started trickling in like a slow poison. A credit card statement arrived with a charge for a room at the Langham, a luxury hotel on North Wabash Avenue, on a night she claimed to be at a conference in Schaumburg. Then I found a receipt for expensive lingerie from a store on Michigan Avenue tucked into her gym bag lingerie I had never seen. The worst was the texts. She thought she was being clever deleting them, but she forgot about the synced messages on our family iPad. "Can't stop thinking about last night," one from David Reed. "That hotel room was insane. You're incredible." Jessica's reply. "You too. Michael has no idea. He's so wrapped up in his own little world." My own little world. My world was managing my type 1 diabetes, running my small architectural firm, and trying to keep our marriage from crumbling. Her betrayal felt like a physical blow, leaving me breathless and dizzy. As my suspicions grew, her behavior became colder, more manipulative. She started arguments over nothing, twisting my words, making me feel like I was the one losing my mind. "You're so paranoid, Michael," she'd sigh, rolling her eyes. "Maybe it's your blood sugar affecting your mood. Have you checked it?" She weaponized my illness, using it to gaslight me, to make me doubt my own sanity. I felt myself shrinking, becoming a ghost in my own home. One night I broke down. I confronted her, my voice trembling. "Jessica, are you seeing someone else?" She just stared at me, her face a mask of cold indifference. "Don't be ridiculous," she said before turning and walking away, leaving me sobbing alone in the living room. That night something inside me shattered. The love, the hope, the man I used to be all died. In its place, something cold and hard began to form. She and David thought they were untouchable. They were laughing at me. The humiliation was a fire in my gut, but I smothered it. I would not give her the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart again. From that moment on, I played the part of the oblivious, slightly pathetic husband. I stopped asking questions. I smiled when she came home late. I let her believe her lies were working. While she was out on her client dinners, I was building my case. I installed a keylogger on the family computer, placed a voice-activated recorder under the passenger seat of her car. I hired a private investigator who documented their meetings at cozy restaurants in River North and their weekend trips to a boutique hotel in Lincoln Park. The evidence piled up, photos, recordings, hotel bills. Every piece of proof was a nail in the coffin I was building for her. Then came the insulin. I noticed my vials were emptying faster than usual. First, I dismissed it as my own carelessness, but then it happened again and again. I started marking the levels on the vials with a fine-tipped permanent marker. Sure enough, the levels would drop overnight, far more than a single dose. A terrifying thought began to creep into my mind. Wait, was she just trying to cheat? Or was she trying to get rid of me? Was my life insurance policy the real prize? That's when I saw her that night, wiping the vial. The pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. She wasn't just being unfaithful, she was being malevolent. She was either trying to harm me directly or creating a situation where my health would rapidly deteriorate, perhaps leading to an accident. She was wiping her prints, erasing any link to my potential demise. My blood ran cold. The revenge I had planned suddenly felt insufficient. This was no longer just about infidelity. This was about survival. I meticulously set my traps. I contacted a divorce lawyer, one of a shark's reputation, and provided him with the mountain of evidence. He was practically salivating. I moved all my personal savings into a new account she couldn't access. I spoke with my business partner and restructured my ownership stake to protect the firm. Then, I planned the final act. Jessica's parents were celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary with a huge party at a lavish banquet hall. Her entire family, all her friends, her work colleagues, including David, would be there. It was the perfect stage. The night of the party, I played the doting husband. I toasted her parents. I smiled for photos. I watched Jessica and David exchange secret, triumphant glances across the room. They thought they had one. During the dessert course, I walked to the podium, tapping the microphone. "I'd like to say a few words," I began. A hush fell over the room. Jessica beamed at me, probably thinking I was about to give some heartfelt speech. I looked directly at her. The past few months, I've been living in a fog of deceit. But tonight, I want to thank my wife, Jessica, for finally giving me clarity. Her smile faltered. On the large projector screens behind me, which had been showing a slideshow of her parents, the first image appeared, a photo of her and David kissing passionately outside the Langham Hotel. Gasps echoed through the hall. The next slide was a screenshot of their texts, then a hotel bill, then another photo of them entering a room. With each click, another piece of her secret life was laid bare for everyone to see. Her face went white. David looked like he was about to be sick. Her parents stared in horror. I let the silence hang for a moment before continuing, my voice calm and steady. But cheating, it seems, wasn't enough. I held up a small, empty insulin vial. I also want to ask her why she's been draining my insulin and meticulously wiping her fingerprints off the vials. Is my life insurance policy the next step in your 5-year plan? The room erupted. Jessica just stood there, completely exposed, her world crashing down around her in a storm of her own making. I didn't stay to watch the fallout. I just set the microphone down and walked out, leaving her to face the judgment of her family and friends. The next day, she was served with divorce papers and a restraining order. The police opened an investigation into her actions with my insulin. Her company fired her and David. Her friends and family disowned her. She lost everything. Sometimes late at night, I walk through the empty rooms of our house. It's clean, silent, and orderly. Everything is in its place, but the silence is deafening. I won. I destroyed her as completely as she tried to destroy me. But my reflection in the dark windows no longer looks like my own. The end.